Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Money Monday. It's Nakia Carter here. Come on in, get ready. Tonight we're talking to the young adults. These are money rules you need to know. Okay, so if you're 20 something, come on in. This is for you. We're going to give folks an opportunity to hop on, and then I have a lengthy list of things that you need to know. Not intimidating, right? And you guys know what I say, progress over perfection. Focus on a couple of these right now and start figuring out what you need to do and what you need to learn. But I'm just giving you some tips and some tools of things that you should know that maybe wasn't taught to you in school. Maybe it wasn't taught to you by people in your family or your elders, or you just don't know where to start. That's what this is about. So come on in. We'll give folks another 30 seconds or so, and then we will get started. Okay. And like I said, it's a lengthy list. I'm up to 15 tips. So it's going to go fast. I'm going to do a good job of thoroughly explaining per usual. But these are things that I wish that I had knew earlier on in my early 20s. A lot of these things I wound up learning in my 20s, and it really helped me tremendously. Hey, Candy, welcome to Money Monday. All right, let's get started. It's 9 o'clock. Okay, this is Young Adult Week. I'm talking to the 20 somethings, the 18, the 19-year-olds. If you're under 30, this is for you. These are money rules that you need to know. If you master these tips in your 20s now, I promise you're going to set yourself up for some great things in the future. Okay, so number one, numero uno, you need to learn how to budget. You need to learn how to create a budget. Okay. Don't spend your 20s partying your life away, and then you don't know how to manage your money. You don't know how to pay your bills. You don't know how to stand on your own. One of the good things about being younger is that people give you grace, right? And they know that you're going to make bad decisions. They know you really don't have a lot of world experience, life experience. They know you don't know a lot. So they're going to give you a lot of grace and a lot of chances and a lot of leeway. That ends once you hit about 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay. So you absolutely need to learn how to manage your money so that you can set your life up for the life that you want to live, and you don't have to spend your 30s recovering from your 20s. So numero uno, learn how to manage your money, learn how to budget, learn how to create a budget, learn how to stick to it, develop that discipline now, because you're going to need that for the rest of your life. Trust and believe me. Okay. I'm 30s, late 30s, and I'm still budgeting my money. Number two is learn about your organization's 401k match. So now you're in a position where maybe you've graduated, maybe you got straight out of high school and went into working. Maybe you have a good job where your company offers a 401k match. You absolutely need to start investing in that. Okay. So all it is retirement savings. And the reason why you want to start investing in your 401k is because typically employers will match however much you put into that 401k up to a certain percentage. So let's say you put in 5% of your money a year, and your employer says, okay, we're going to match 3% of your 5% up to $10,000, right? That's, you stay with them 5 years, that's $50,000 that they've given you in addition to your salary that you have not paid taxes on. So that's free money. That's going to help you set up your retirement. I know in your 20s you're thinking, oh, I have a long time, but that time is going to zip past. And the earlier you start investing, the better. Okay. Let me give you some figures. Let's say you're 25 years old and you start investing $5,000 a year for 10 years straight, and then you stop. Okay. By the time you reach 65 years old, if you have never put another dime into your retirement, you will have $787,000. Okay. Let's say a 35-year-old. So they waited 10 years. They played around. Maybe they had a 401k. They cashed it out, whatever. They started at zero. They invested $5,000 a year for 30 years. Okay. They invested $5,000 a year until they were ready to retire. When it's time for them to retire, they're going to have $611,000, assuming apples to apples, right? So assuming we get the same amount of returns, the 25-year-old and the 35-year-old, they're going to have $150,000 less than the 25-year-old that invested for 10 years and then stopped. So you absolutely want to start now. Look into into your company's retirement savings account, see if you're eligible. Even if you're not in a position where your company doesn't offer a 401k, or maybe you're not eligible for it, look into a Roth IRA, right? Or a traditional IRA, because that's still going to give you the same savings. You're still going to be able to invest that money and get that interest on that money over time. So start as soon as you can. Number 3 is get life insurance. I feel like life insurance is something, or any insurance, right? So we're talking about car, life, renters. This is insurance that people really play around with. And the thing about life insurance is I keep saying life. The thing about insurance is that it doesn't seem like a big deal until it's a big deal, right? And so let's say you're driving your car and you don't have car insurance. Can you afford to pay somebody $40,000 if you hit them and it's your fault and they break their leg, right? Can you afford to have your apartment burned down, you lose everything that you own, and now you got to start from zero, and because you didn't pay $15 a month for renter's insurance? Can you afford to, unfortunately, lose your life? I saw this on Facebook a couple months ago. An insurance provider had been in contact with a mom and her son, and the mom wound up canceling the son's insurance. The son was 18 years old. And so the life insurance rep had been reaching out to her, telling her, like, you guys need to get this. The mom would not do it. The son ended up dying, and it would have taken $25 a month for her to bury her son and get a substantial amount of money. So now you're grieving, and on top of grieving, you can't even afford the arrangements, right? So even if you can't afford it, get some type of insurance. If you're driving a car and you can't afford full coverage, get liability. If you have to buy term life insurance, buy it. If you have to skip going out a weekend to keep your renter's insurance active, so if somebody breaks in your house or your apartment floods or it burns down, you don't have to start over from zero, do it, okay? It's very, very important. Number 4 is get a degree or a certification with a purpose. On average, a 4-year degree can be anywhere from $27,000 to $45,000 or more a year. Okay. And I feel like a lot of people, they go to college just to go. So if you're going to college to get an art degree, philosophy, social work, English, those are all degrees that have very low returns, right? You're not going to make a lot of money with those fields. So you need to go with a purpose, unless you just want to be a social worker, right? Like I love people. I want to be a social worker. Do it. But you need to figure out what you're going to school for. Find a niche, even if you're getting a business degree. I have an MBA and I wish I had a niche, right? A few months ago, I'm doing well in my career now, but for years I struggled because I didn't have a niche. So you need to have a niche. You need to do your research, look at the current average salary for the positions that you'll be applying for in your career field. Figure out what that looks like in a 10-year growth, right? So if you look up a art degree and they make $50,000 a year, is that something that you want to do? Now, $50,000 is nothing to scoff at, but is that something that you can sustain yourself on? Is that the type of lifestyle that you want to live? You need to figure that out. You need to figure out where the degree is going to take you in the next 10 years, and then what your career path or your potential career path will look like after that time is over. So how can you parlay this art degree into something else, right? How can you parlay this social worker degree into something else? You need to know that. And then you need to learn how student loans work. We've seen a lot over the last few years about this student loan crisis, how expensive it is to go to school. And so you absolutely have to have a plan. Now, if you're going to school to be a doctor or an attorney and you know that you're going to finish, then it's nothing to get those loans because those are high earning career fields. But if you're going to school for art and you just want to draw, you might want to reconsider that. Number 5 is don't fall for the debt trap. And / you need to know how credit scores and credit reporting works. Now, the thing with young folks is you guys come out of high school, you're in your 20s, you're young whippersnappers, you know, the world is your oyster, and they offer you all of these credit cards, right? But you have to pay that money back, and you have to pay it back with interest. So you need to know how getting a lot of debt and a lot of credit cards is going to impact you for the rest of your life. Is it worth taking 5 years to pay off clothes? Probably not. Okay. Is it worth having a low credit score and not really being able to do the things that you want to do in your late 20s or your 30s because you have all of this debt. Probably not. So figure out how credit works, how credit reporting works, credit scores. I've done a couple Money Mondays on it. They're over on my YouTube channel. Check them out. I've talked about debt repayment. Check those Money Mondays out, because you do not want to spend your 30s and your 40s trying to pay for mistakes that you made in your 20s. It's unreasonable. Number 6 is learn to save without saving for something. So in my 20s, I would save money for something, meaning I would save money to go on a concert or go on vacation. I would save money for a pair of shoes I wanted. I would save money for a new car. But you have to learn how to save money without it going for something. Like, you have to be okay with saying, okay, this $500 is my emergency savings. That's it. If it's not an emergency, I'm not spending it. Okay. Once you learn how to save and you become disciplined with your saving, it's going to help you out, because you're going to have a safety net, and it's going to reduce the amount of anxiety that you feel when an emergency comes up. You're not going to have to run to your mom and your dad, because you're going to have your emergency savings set up. That leads me to number 7. I think we all want to be adults so bad. Now look at us. We're here and it's horrible. We're paying our own bills. Stay at home as long as you can. If you are in a loving environment and your parents are not kicking you out, it's not toxic, they still love you, they're supportive, and you're trying to figure your life out, stay at home as long as you can, okay? And save all your money. And then they'll lead us to number 8. Buy a house if you can, right? If you can afford to buy a house and it's within your budget and you're responsible and you know how to manage your money and you've worked your credit scores and all of that good stuff, and you've been living with your parents and now you're ready to move out on your own, it's a blessing to move into your own house. Now, don't feel pressured to do that. If that's something that you can't afford, it's something that you can't afford, and that's okay. But if you can't afford it, buy a house. I bought my first house. I closed on my 23rd birthday. I kept that house for 15 years. That house eventually became a family house. So everybody in my immediate family lived in that house at one time or another, including myself, except for my husband. And when I sold that house a couple years ago, I almost doubled my money, meaning I almost got double the amount of money that I paid for the house. So we essentially lived there for 15 years for free. Okay. And I got money on top of that. So if you can afford to buy a house, do it. It's a great way to build wealth. It's a great investment. 10, learn about investing. Now, when you enroll in your company's 401k, that is a form of investing, but we have lower barriers of entry. So we have Robinhood, we have Fidelity, we have a lot of these companies that are not charging fees to buy stocks. Amazon and Google, things that were not accessible before. Start getting into investing so you can learn how to make your money grow. During the pandemic, I did a Money Monday about Gush and UCO. At the time, they were oil stocks. And of course, they tanked because nobody was driving. But I knew that we would eventually need gas, right? And so I invested a lot of money in that, and I got a lot of money back. So learn how to invest. Number 11 is watch your socials. Okay. Now, this is a twofold thing. Your brand is online, and what you put online lasts forever. So just because you post something and then a year later or 5 minutes later you delete it, I guarantee you it's screenshotted in somebody's phone. And that's why so many celebrities get into trouble years later, is because they have all of these things on their social media that's buried in years and years and years ago, and they never thought it would surface. Think about how many college students have lost full ride scholarships behind things they have posted online. Think about how many people have done crazy, ignorant, racist things online. They've lost their jobs. They've lost opportunities. They've had to close their businesses. We see it time and time again. So I know you think it's funny. I know you think it's cute, but you really need to watch what you're posting on your social media, because it can impact your finances. And then another thing is influencers. So our generation is heavily influenced. We get influenced by everything. Don't feel compelled to spend your money just because an influencer told you to. That's a trap, and that can really drain your money, right? So be true to who you are. Watch what you're buying on TikTok Shop and Instagram and Facebook and all of that, because that can be a money drainer. Number 12 is learn how money works. And when I say learn how money works, I'm not just talking about budgeting. I'm talking about expenses, how bills work, right? How you have to pay your bills on time, or what's going to happen. What happens if you don't pay your rent on time? I'm talking about overdraft fees, learning how to bank, learning about how Cash App works and some of the issues that they've had with security and not relying on that platform to be your sole banking app. I'm talking about how to talk to people about money, right? How to go in a store and buy something and make a good decision on if you should or should not buy a warranty. That type of thing. You need to learn how money works. 13 is never put all your eggs in one basket, any of them. Okay, so you never have one income. You need to find a side hustle, and don't be afraid of entrepreneurship. If you are relying on one income, and that's not good. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Learn how to diversify your income. You need to have money coming in from at least 2 or 3 different sources where if something happens, you can sustain yourself and you can make some money. 14 is a big one. Scammers never win. I know that everybody on Instagram is driving Rolls Royces. I know people flying on private jets. They dressed in Gucci and gold and Fendi and Balenciaga and this. A lot of these people are lying and scamming. Okay, so there's no get rich quick. We're seeing it now. If you think about the PPP loans, so many people are going to jail because they tried to scam. It's not going to work. Don't do it unless you want metal bracelets and handcuffs on you. So scammers never win. And then 15 is think long term. So a lot of times when you're younger, it's hard to imagine yourself as a 30-something-year-old. Like, I'm 30-something and I was just 22 like last week. So you have to think long term when it comes to your money. What's going to happen in the next 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, 10 years? What are your money goals for that time? Where do you see yourself? You have to literally plan your life out of what you want your life to look like in the future, right? Maybe you don't have all the details. Maybe you don't know everything, but you have some idea of the things that you need to do to live the type of lifestyle that you want to live in 10 years. 10 years comes quick. And you'll see that, especially if you're in your mid-20s, you're almost at your 10-year high school reunion. So you really have to start thinking long term when it comes to your money, when it comes to your lifestyle, when it comes to what you're putting your energy into, what you're investing in, what you're investing in yourself, right? When it comes to your career, when it comes to how you're handling your money, co-signing for people, not paying your bills on time, so on and so forth. Think long term, because like I said, again, you don't want to be 30 and 35 and 40 years old still trying to clean up what you did in your 20s. That's not going to be a good experience for you. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this Money Monday. I hope it helps you progress, not perfection. Take what you need from this. Next week, I will be traveling. I'll be actively traveling in the airport, so I won't go live. What I'll do is post, I'll do a pre-record and post it on YouTube so that you guys can go and watch it on YouTube. Next week, I'm talking about how to budget when you don't feel like you make enough, and then how to stop a financial hemorrhage. Sometimes I think we're stuck in place because we don't feel like we make enough money, when really all you have to do is start where you are with what you have and use what you got. And then from there, it'll be able for you to craft your blueprint and figure out what it is that you need to do. So I love you guys. I hope this helped you. Don't forget to share it. I'll be posting it on my YouTube as well. Have a great week, and I will see you guys soon. Not next week, but the week after that. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Candy said, thank you so much for social media topic, because a lot of people don't realize how much of an impact it can have. Yes, Candy. I know I closed out, but let me just say this. People can smudge, especially with AI. They can go so deep into your social media and find things that you never thought they would find, even if your profiles are private. So just be careful with social media, because I don't want you to end up like the Karens and the Kens and SOL. Okay? I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.